Good evening, my collective. I had a great experience today with the European nation. I have to navigate my way through this. Everywhere I go, it's always an experience of some type of subconscious or unintentional gathering or perspective over me. So, you know how I always do it. I'm going to go into the Israelite prayer. For I am Pharaoh and I am praying over my nation. Oyore Wahe, Benum Sofi Yore Wahe, Harikashe Yore Wahe. I ask as a humble servant that you activate the jinn in all its authority if it has to produce more jinns to execute the order that is given from Pharaoh to protect our nation. But I just wanted to share things today. I came out here to work out today and I had a narrative that was just extremely egregious and substance lie, right? We got a security of the park. Then we had like two miscellaneous vessels, just at the park, right? So, I'm getting into my workout and all that there. And then next thing you know, law enforcement talks to the security guy over there and the people over there. I don't think nothing of it because, I didn't speak to them. I had no communication. It was nothing, right? Next thing you know, law enforcement is coming over to me. Then he want to ask me, is there any drugs or something of this nature right here? And I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, get away from me, That's what I told him off the rip, this is not consensual. And he started looking at me and said, did I disrespect you? And I'm like, shit, you might as well disrespect me coming over here saying drugs and I'm working out. That's totally disrespectful. See, he tried to escalate it to like a degree of, he didn't want to accept my word process or play that I was using, right? So I looked at him and said, I got to go, because it's not a consensual contact, This is not, there's nothing, right? So I started walking away. He started looking at my bag, and I said, "Is my bag getting your attention or something?" So I grabbed my bag, I put it on my possessions, and I started going to the north side of the park. So the other officers was walking behind me and shit, so I jogged over to the other side, to make detachment, I separate myself and shit. So they started walking in my direction, so I'm like, oh my God, what is this, right? But they stopped, because they're seeing that, I'm trying to work out here, I don't know what the fuck, What, it's just amazing how, you can just go through little small navigation of a filthy society, that think is supreme, and everything that they have is stolen from my ancestors. So today's lesson for the collective is this. Remember, we look on what's within, right? So here I am going back over my ancestral remembrance, right? So I'm looking at my collective, what I hold within me, right? So I'm looking at my surroundings, right? I got the Tallahassee Police Department. I got a portal right here. And I got a center of Europeans that's on a filthy mindset of, another race or another vessel supposed to act a certain type of way in their presence. So that's not going to happen. I'm going to have my day. I'm going to, be at my fullness. And I just say we have to guard our light first, but we also have to guard our authority at all costs because that's part of your light. When you guard your light, you have to guard that authority too. Because remember, the vessels that hold on to the presence or the ignorance of the illusion of authority, because they had this trail of 4,000 years from Alexander the Great to, Donald Trump, that doesn't mean that you have to disregard yourself. It doesn't know your excellence. Okay? Because we cannot live in the past. We cannot let all of that history still detach yourself from your authority or detach yourself from your essence, your awareness, your initiatives, intuitions. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that your consciousness and your creativity is more supreme because their, systems are cracking, busting. It's going away. You know what I'm saying? Slowly. The only thing they got is threats. The only thing they got is, evil intentions. They have to have some type of energy of fear. So that's why I say when you guard in your light, you also have to guard your inner authority. Because the outer authority, it doesn't count. But your inner authority, because you have to remember your ancestral authority, right? Because your ancestors is cracking this code. So you don't have to look on the outside, but you still have to guard that authority. So when you have those little peon illusions of privilege that comes towards you, guard your authority, say what you're going to say, mean what you're going to say, do what you're going to say, and know your evolution of the criminal law rules book, whether you're in Europe or whether you're in the United States or wherever you are. Know their law and know how to proceed inside of their law, period. Because you have to guard your inner authority. Because, as you can see, they're all on the outside with an illusion authority. And the only way they can get to your authority is by fear, or you don't have enough education to hold your inner authority. Okay? And that is my message from Pharaoh to my collective. Let us start guarding our inner authority, because that's what, at the end of the day, they unintentional, subconsciously challenge. At the end of the day, that's what they're doing. All right? Because remember, they're on the outside of you. They're not on the inside of you. They're not handling your awareness. They're not handling no intentions. They're not collapsing no timeline that you possess within you. They don't even have ancestral divine protection. They're going through their, they have to go through their, let it go and get in the truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for you to stay in your inner authority, because they're rocking on the outside. Anything you see on the other side of your eye, that's of a matrix, they rocking in that. And you can get trapped up in fear. You can get trapped up in not controlling your awareness, not controlling your intuitions, not controlling your authority of how you're going to collapse this timeline or how you're going to deliver this message. You can get trapped up and, get fooled on the outside. Now your inside is destroyed. Okay? So that's what we start doing. Stop getting into their bullshit. Say what you're going to say. Walk away. If they're following you or whatever the case may be, make sure it's not in any contact. If there's any contact, go full-fledged. Because there shouldn't be no contact. Period. But if it's verbal, walk away. You don't have to sit there and engage yourself, because they control this outer dimension. That's their authority. But do not let them control your inner authority, because your inner authority does everything to this reality and dimension at this particular stage of the game. All right, guys? All right.